It was 2 weeks to Christmas, and Mr. Paul's house was filled with noise. His children ran up and down, excited about their journey to the village. Every year, they traveled home for Christmas, and it was the only time they got to see their extended family. The children loved the fresh air, the big trees, and the many cousins to play with. But little did they know that this year would be different, in a terrible and tragic way. He was busy packing clothes and preparing snacks for the journey. She always made sure everything was ready days ahead, so nothing would be forgotten. But there was one thing that always troubled her. Mr. Paul never prayed. "Favour, let us pray for just 2 minutes," she said as she folded clothes into a bag. Baba Favour waved his hand as if chasing a fly. "Mama Favour, stop disturbing me. God knows we are traveling. He doesn't need me to remind him to protect us," he said, laughing. Mama Favour sighed and shook her head. Why won't he understand? She wondered. Even the older children had started copying their father. Whenever she knelt to pray, they would grumble, saying, "Mama, why do we have to pray every day? It's boring." But Mama Favour never stopped praying. Every day, she asked God to protect her family. Yet deep in her heart, she wished Baba Favour would join her, even if just once. As the days to Christmas grew closer, the family did not know that something dark was waiting for them on the road ahead, something that would change their lives forever. One evening, Baba Favour was driving home from work, thinking about the journey ahead. As he turned a corner, he saw an old woman standing by the roadside, waving her hand for help. She had a wrapper tied around her waist and carried a small basket. Baba Favour slowed down and stopped beside her. "Mama, where are you going?" he asked, leaning out of the window. "My son," the old woman said, her voice tired, "I am going down the next street. Can you take me there?" "Of course, Mama." "Get in," he replied. They drove in silence for a while, the only sounds coming from the car engine and distant chirping crickets. Then, the old woman cleared her throat. "My son," she said softly, "I hope you won't be angry with what I am about to say." Baba Favour glanced at her curiously. "What is it, Mama?" She took a deep breath. "This Christmas, you should not travel to your village. And if you must go, you and your family must pray and fast before the journey. There is danger ahead." Her words hung in the air like smoke. Baba Favour laughed, a loud hearty laugh. "Mama, you want me to stop my family from traveling? We have been making this journey for years. Nothing will happen." The old woman looked at him, her eyes dark and serious. "I have said what I came to say. The rest is up to you, my son." When they reached their destination, Baba Favour stopped the car, and the old woman got out. She turned to him one last time. "Thank you for the ride. Remember my words, pray and fast if you must go." Baba Favour waved her off, smiling. "Thank you, Mama, take care." As he drove away, he thought to himself, why do people like to scare others with these stories? He convinced himself that she was just being superstitious. After all, he had made this trip many times before, and nothing had ever happened. 2 days to Christmas, the house was buzzing with excitement. Bags were packed and stacked by the door, filled with clothes, gifts, and snacks. The children danced around, talking about the village and all the fun they would have. Mama Favour, as always, was the calm one. Before they left, she called everyone to the living room. "Let us pray before we go," she said, her voice gentle but firm. Baba Favour frowned. "Mama Favour, what is it with you and prayers? We are not going to the moon, it's just the village. Let me go and warm the car." Mama Favour sighed and knelt to pray alone with the children. "Lord, protect us and guide my family," she whispered. Outside, Baba Favour got into the driver's seat, turned the ignition key, and waited. But instead of the usual roar of the engine, there was silence. He tried again. The car coughed weakly but refused to start. "What is this now?" Baba Favour muttered. He got out, opened the bonnet, and stared at the engine as if expecting it to explain itself. He jiggled a few wires and tried again. Still, the car would not start. Frustrated, he went back inside. "Mama Favour, the car won't start. I don't know what's wrong with it." Mama Favour looked at him, calm as ever. "Maybe God doesn't want us to go," she said softly. Baba Favour snapped, "Stop saying that. What does God have to do with a car engine? I'll call the mechanic." The mechanic arrived quickly, his tools clanging as he inspected the car. After a few minutes, he stood up and shook his head. "Oga, the engine has knocked. This car isn't going anywhere until it's fixed." Baba Favour's mouth fell open. "Knocked? How?" "I drove this car yesterday, and there was nothing wrong with it." The mechanic shrugged. "Sometimes, these things just happen, sir. It's beyond me." Mama Favour smiled faintly. "God knows why." But Baba Favour wouldn't hear it. "God knows why," he mimicked sarcastically. "So now what? Are we just going to cancel Christmas?" After pacing the room for a while, Favour clapped his hands. We'll go to the park and take a commercial bus. It's not ideal, but we'll still get to the village. Mama Favour frowned. Maybe we shouldn't go at all, she said gently. Don't start again, Mama Favour. Favour snapped. I've made up my mind. And with that, the matter was settled. The bags were repacked, and the children, still excited, prepared for the journey. But Mama Favour's heart was heavy. She prayed silently, Lord, take control. The next morning, the family arrived at the motor park, ready to board a bus. As they stepped forward, a man in a faded cap and tattered shirt suddenly grabbed Favour's arm. Oga, you no fit enter this bus, the man whispered urgently. No enter am. Trouble day. Favour frowned and pulled his arm away. What kind of nonsense is this? Who are you? Before the man could reply, another bus arrived, and the first one left. Hours later, they had terrible news. An accident had claimed the lives of everyone on that bus. Favour stood frozen in shock, realizing that prayers had saved his family after always seek divine guidance before making major decisions. Sometimes, warnings come in unexpected ways, and wisdom lies in heeding them. Prayer is a shield, and faith can make all the difference. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Folklore of Africa for more inspiring content.